Hey guys, how's it going? It's Quickly Tactical here. So today we're going to talk about the fighting rifle, Recce Rifle, whatever the buzzword is today. Given some of my experience, I figure I can pass on some of this knowledge, and I'm going to go over as to what considerations you should take into building a Recce rifle, as well as going over what I have in my own Recce rifle that I've spent a few years building. I've seen a couple variations. I tend to do that a lot. I'll build out a gun and then I'll switch it. And this is probably the final iteration of this gun. I'll probably slap some camo on there as well. I've been kind of holding out on that just because I love the look of black and tan. I think it's pretty wicked. But we'll get right into it. Okay, first, before I start out, here we're not sponsored by anybody. Again, it's just myself and a video camera making some of this stuff, showcasing some of my own gear, and passing on the good word to anybody who is currently in the military, law enforcement, in these trying times, because a lot of guys are losing focus. A lot of guys are losing motivation as to why they should be doing what they're doing. And I'm here to pass on kind of a reason why you would. And a good, I guess maybe it's a little narcissistic to think that I could lead by example, but that's something that I would like to try and do. Okay, so without further ado, I like to go through some of the stuff that I'm wearing. We have my #1 outdoor research balaclava that is going to get really hot in our new studio here. But we prepped it up. We have a nice backdrop, and then I can film for you guys. So my EDC today, we have the famous 511 pen light here, still working. The AAAs, same from the last video. And then again, we switched her up to the Spyderco Enduro 4. I love this knife. I'll rep this knife as an EDC knife. I'm in between defensive knives right now because I'm getting rid of the Blade Brothers knife. I find it too hard to carry. The sheath is way too big, and it's something that I just can't carry it. It's too big and bulky. It's too uncomfortable. So I'm switching back to the Columbia River. But then I've also went out and I've got a new knife on the way in from our pals at Amphibious. It's their collaboration with Cravacut, and I'm going to do a video on that when it arrives. My watch today, I don't really change up my watches. However, I do have a bit of a watch collection. Maybe I'll start showing these off. It's my Apple Watch SE. Nothing super special. I'm just a data whore, so I like to see how my body's doing throughout the day, I guess. My shirt today is OSOC Apparel. One shot, one kill. That's what OSOC stands for, if anybody doesn't know. And the pants I'm wearing are good old Eddie Bauer First Ascent pants. Okay, let's get right into it. So, an AR-15 and a Recce rifle. Consider build variant, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go from in the hard to get away from adage, from tip to butt, just like Papa Flannel Daddy says. We're going to start off at the top. Okay, so at the top we have the Griffin Armament M4 SD compensator. It's designed to be used with the Griffin Armament suppressor. However, that is not allowed in Canada. Compensator versus flash hider versus muzzle brake. Okay, so on a Recce rifle, in my opinion, you need to be able, you're not going out for a fight, but should you need to defend yourself, you should be able to do it in the best way possible, okay? And to me, that means being able to reach out farther with more ammunition, a higher rate of fire, and possibly the ability to suppress, okay? So flash hider would probably be best. However, that doesn't mitigate recoil as well as a compensator, which doesn't mitigate recoil as well as a brake. However, the compensator mitigates recoil and flash in a good enough respect that you can remain concealed if you're not using a suppressor. Okay? Moving down, we have the True North Arms rail system. I find it to be good. Everything on this gun is a little heavy. It is an 18.6-inch national match barrel, which I'll go through in a second. But with that alone, weight, just work out more, okay? Just work out more. So the 18.6-inch national match barrel, it is a beast, okay? It is extremely heavy, stainless steel. However, it provides excellent heat dissipation and it gives us some good sub-MOA groupings. At any time, I would show you a video of myself grouping with this gun. However, it is illegal to shoot. So it's just an instructional piece at this point, a very expensive instructional piece. So the National Match Barrel is cold hammer forged with a 1-8 twist. Okay, so what that twist rate does, as opposed to 1-7, it gives me the ability to fire heavier or lighter rounds. So it gives me more universality of the type of rounds by weight that I can fire from this 5.56 gun. Okay, it can give me the 55 grains that I want with a higher muzzle velocity, but it can also allow me to shoot up to 65 grain, maybe higher ammunition and send it on its way. Okay, so moving back, kind of jumping back into the rail. So the rail system is M-LOK. I found the rails that came with it to not fit every accessory, okay? I don't know if that's because it's not standard, was it 1917 Picatinny? But I ended up having to get a BCM rail to fit one of my accessories, which I'll go through in a sec. So it does fit most accessories. I did have backup sights. I ended up selling them. I want to get better ones. And it fit those okay. It fits my flashlight okay. So moving into my flashlight, I've got the Surefire M600df. It is an excellent light, works extremely well, and it comes in that wicked tan color. Puts at about 1200 lumens, and you can get the tail cap on it to wire up a switch to it, which I don't have yet. Okay, lasers. So my laser, I have the Steiner D-Ball I squared. It is a civilian version of the PEC-2 Alpha, not the PEC-2 that anybody in the Canadian Army thinks that's gigantic, but the modern PEC-2. Okay, it is the light version of the PEC-15, if you can think of it that way. Okay, it has 2 modes of visible, 2 modes of infrared laser that you can use with night vision. I do have it wired up on a pretzel switch. You can have it set here. I kind of went a little ghetto with it. I just put a little bit of Velcro tape and some gun tape on there to hold it in place until I get something better. Moving back, okay, so we have our Magpul Afg 2, which I find I don't use in the way that it's set. I like to have my hand farther out, so I use it more of like a guide. I hook my pinky finger under there. I have an ability to hit my pretzel switch, and with my thumb, I can hit my flashlight just like this. Boop, boop. Okay, so, excuse me. That's my configuration of how some guys like to have the pretzel switch right on top so they can hit it with their thumb, but I want to be able to actuate multiple things. I've got my laser, got my light, so I'll be able to just use both devices with one hand. Okay, again, I use the AFG as more of a hand stop or a marker as to where I place my hands on presentation of the rifle. Okay. Moving back from there, just some Magpul sling adapters for the Ferro Concepts Slingster. I love this sling. This sling is excellent. I would buy another one in a heartbeat. Okay, for optics, okay, the optic I chose was the Vortex Viper Hs. Okay, it's a low power variable optic. I believe the reason why it does have a bell on it, as opposed to just the normal straight tube that most low power variable optics is this is for something like maybe a 223 bolt action rifle. It does have the EBR7C reticle in it, much like my Cadex R700. The EBR7C allows you to make quick follow-up engagements, perfect for this rifle. The bell gives it a larger objective lens, which allows it to encapsulate more light longer in the day, okay? Which allows you to operate at a much longer period of time without the need of night optics. It's 2.5 to 10 optic, so it goes at 2.5 at the lowest power. It is just an indistinguishable crosshair. At the 10 power, you can see the whole reticle. It is a first focal plane as opposed to second focal plane. If you want to know more about that, watch my Cadex video. But it is not illuminated. The turrets are not combat turrets. I'll loosen them up for you. The turrets are kind of a set and forget. You set them at 0, and then you're expected to use the reticle. So it is more of a designated marksman optic as opposed to a dedicated sniper optic. Okay, moving back. It is a completely custom build. So even though the upper and lower do say Northeastern Arms, don't judge it. I haven't had a single problem with the Northeastern Arms upper and lower match set. Maybe it might be a little heavier. I'm unsure of that at this point. Just hit the gym a little harder and you can lift your gun, I promise. So the Northeastern Arms upper and lower, I haven't had a single problem with them again. I've got a Geisley AGL trigger, just the regular mil-spec trigger. When you're buying super high-end triggers and things like that for something that can be considered a battle rifle, or some sort of like Recce Rifle, keep in mind these things are going to be dirty. So the more farther away you get from mil-spec, the more it's going to break down on you. So just a regular mil-spec trigger is fine for me. It gives me excellent splits, okay? Again, I would link in a video of me just burning the trigger down on this thing. However, I would be arrested shortly after. Our charging handle is a BCM gunfighter charging handle. It is not ambidextrous. I'm not left-handed. Yeah, okay, what if you get shot? I'm going to have larger problems to worry about, okay? The charging handle works excellent. You can just move it back, clear any stoppages, come over the top. Just the one side works for me. The bolt carrier group is a Rainier Arms mil-spec bolt carrier group. It has an anodized coating on it to help with cleaning. However, clean your guns and they'll serve you well. It's the same with like people who never change the oil in their cars. You don't change the oil in your car and people wonder why it breaks down. Clean your guns, keep them maybe just a little dirty, keep them running well, and it'll serve you fine. Okay, so yeah, Rainier Arms, mil-spec, anodized bolt carrier group. Never had a problem with it. Runs great. I believe I have an H2 buffer system in it that helps dampen the recoil in the back end. And then also because of the giant barrel on the front end, I had to get the Magpul UBR stock to kind of counterweight it. And I find it's balanced pretty well with that. I do like that it has the preset positions. However, I never, ever move it. I think it's a neat feature, but I never, ever need to move it for this gun. Okay. Moving back into here, we have the Magpul Myad grip. How is it different to the Mo? I don't know. I never had a Mo grip. I do put a little bit of CLP in there. Should I run into any trouble on the range or forget to prep to fire it properly before I leave for the range. I like that it has a fat grip. The grip angle I find to be adequate. The grip angle doesn't hurt my wrist or anything like that. I know I'm talking a big game about working out, lifting a big gun, and then asking about how my wrist might hurt while I'm shooting. It's a pretty good grip angle on it. Okay, so there's my build, my Recce rifle. So some of the philosophy behind it, I wanted a longer rifle because to me, to be able to carry something longer and a bit heavier, that brings me the ability to reach out, shoot farther, 500-600 meters plus. at a high rate of fire and still retain a good zero, not start burning my hand because it's so hot. That was kind of my thought process behind it. At 2 power, you can bring this thing up and shoot center of mass, and the only thing you have to account for is your height over bore. And then at 500-600 meters, you just hold at the appropriate line. If you want to, you can dial it on the turrets, but just know your holds, and you can correct off that using the EBR-7C reticle. So that is my theory behind a Recce rifle. Okay, again, I know it is like the topic of the day. The Recce rifle, I find it funny. A lot of guys talk about it as like this cool thing. However, if you've ever done real Recce, you'll know that you do the job with what you're given, okay? There's no special rifle. There's things about what you would like to have, like this. But dudes that do it with a piece of shit Alcan and a fucking super shitty C8, okay? So, yeah, Recce rifles, if you want to build them out, do it properly. Don't just do it because you saw it on Call of Duty or something like that. Actually think about what you're putting into your gun, and don't just weigh it down with a bunch of stupid stuff. Have a reason. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.